An excerpt from The Halfling's Court by Danielle Ackley-McPhail. The dust rose in a haze against the twilight as the vintage 47 Harley-Davidson knucklehead rumbled into the parking lot of Delilah's. Lance Cosain added his bike to the sea of chrome and steel, overflowing the gravel lot into the surrounding fields, and hemming in the barrack-style bunkhouse in the back. A kick of his heel set the stand, and a twist of his wrist killed the engine. He ran his hands down his thighs, working kinks out of muscles tight from too many hours on the road, and turned a hooded gaze towards the roadhouse. He was home. A thrill of anticipation ran through his gut. Lance swung himself out of the saddle. He removed his headgear and set it on the tail of the bike. Swirls of white paint hugged the back of the glossy black helmet. Celtic knotwork surrounded ancient symbols representing his name. He ran a finger along each bold line, feeling their power. As he traced them, energy crackled like static from the helmet to his hand. The runes flared and then faded, leaving the gleaming surface an unbroken black. A gift from Suzanne, his fairy queen. The protective spell spread and settled over him, like a second set of well-worn leathers, but stronger than tri-armor. It felt like she had just wrapped her arms around him and settled in to stay. He wished. He headed for the entrance, his leathers faintly creaking, and the power subdued. Pulling open the door, he stood a moment in the entranceway. Murmurs of Windwalker traveled around the room as they recognized him. He acknowledged the nods and smiles as those filling the crowded space greeted him, their ride captain. Some of the bikers held up bottles, inviting him over. The mamas had a different invitation in their eyes. He made his way around the bar in search of Suzanne, acclimating himself to the ever-present smoke, savoring the comfortable musk of butter-soft leather laced with the rich essence of whiskey and beer, built up over decades. Lance searched the shadowy corners of the place for the slender platinum blonde with mischief bubbling in her silvery blue eyes. The room was large and open, with tables set up in the center and booths down the sides. He didn't find Suzanne at any of them, or at the bar that faced the door, stretching the full length of the mirrored wall. The lights were dim and the music loud. It was a simple place, no frills like its owner. The one distinct feature of the bar, the guardian wall. Right beside the door, hundreds of brass cup hooks covered the wall. From each one hung a guardian bell, some fancy, some plain, all of them free for the taking, or preferably the giving. Delilah kept the wall stocked, because at Delilah's, everyone knew road gremlins were more than just an urban legend. The bell represented the bikers' protection, and the hunt protected their own. More than that, what made Delilah special was the people. Right now, it wasn't special enough. Most of the faces were familiar, but none of them were his Suzanne. A slight chill of premonition ran through Lance, but he shrugged it off. She'd be here soon. When the last rider arrived, they'd all get on their bikes and head for the meetup to join the Steel Horse Stampede for the 65-mile run down to Lynchburg, complete with police escort and a rescue vehicle entourage. They ride in all their glory, with colors, hair, and spirits flying, alone or pillion, passing exit ramp after exit ramp full of idling cars as the stadies forced the cagers to wait until the procession went by like royalty. And Lance, riding in the front door position, would lead the way, with his lieutenant and best friend Gavin riding the most trusted position of sweep. He could feel the wind flow over him already. He could feel the rumble of the road beneath his wheels and hear it echo endlessly at his back. And God help him. Again, he could feel the ghost of Suzanne's slender arms twined around him, hear echoes of her wild laughter by his ear, mingled with the roar of hundreds of cycles strung out behind. "Sue," he he growled in a tight, hungry whisper. His eyes searched the crowd again, predatory and sharp. "Hey man, it's been a while." Lance turned abruptly to see a tall, lean man with shoulder-length gold blonde hair and bright green eyes that glowed with power deep within. Lance nodded, giving his best friend a comfortable grin. Gavin was Suzanne's brother. If he was here, she had to be around somewhere. Lance went back to scanning the place. "She's not here," Gavin continued, as if reading his mind. Lance's brow drew down low, and his grin took on a menacing feel. He turned away from Gavin and headed toward the bar. "Suzanne's not here," Gavin repeated as he followed. "But she should be."